everybody. Before we left school, many of you were reading a book with me called Stink and the World's Worst Super-Stinky Sneakers. Remember that? It was so much fun. We were having so much fun with that book, and we had to leave it behind. And I forgot to bring a copy with me home. So I have downloaded the book on a Kindle. Do you guys know what a Kindle is? Those are really cool. So I downloaded the whole book on this little screen here, and I can read it to you. And I'm so excited because I know you guys were loving that book, and I really want to finish it with you. So I'm going to make videos, and each video is going to be a different chapter of the book. Now I know that most of you read the first 2 chapters with me, but I feel like I should go back and read the first 2 chapters for you again because you might have forgotten. And for those students who didn't do it with me at school, they get to join in now, and it'll be a lot of fun. So we're going to start with the first chapter, and the first chapter is called Gross Me Out. And if you remember, Stink is a boy. He's in about 3rd grade, I think, and he has a sister named Judy Moody, and she has a set of her own books. So maybe we can explore a Judy Moody book next. But anyway, Stink is really into science, and he's a really smart kid, and he's a really funny kid. So this is about Stink and his super stinky sneakers. Chapter 1, Gross Me Out. Gross me out, Stink-o, Skunksville. Stink Moody was in love with school, that is. It was the best day ever of 2nd grade. Oh, he's in 2nd grade, sorry. The best day ever for class 2D, and maybe possibly the best day ever in the whole world and his entire life so far. Mrs. D was taking Stink Moody and his class on a field trip. A smell trip to the smelliest place on earth. Class 2D was going on a special trip to the Gross Me Out exhibit at the Science Museum, and Stink had a 5th sense that it was going to be the smelliest field trip ever. Stink carpooled with his 2 best not smelly friends, Webster and Sophie of the Elves. That's what she likes to be called, Sophie of the Elves. Her real name is Elizabeth, but nobody was allowed to call her that. Hey guys, did you know one human being person can smell about 10,000 smells? Also, smelling peppermint makes you smarter? No way, no how, said Webster. I love peppermint ice cream, said Sophie, so I guess that makes me smart. How do you know so much about smelly stuff anyway, asked Webster. His name's Stink, isn't it, said Sophie. No, come on, for real, said Webster. Don't forget, I read the whole entire S encyclopedia. Books do not lie, especially the encyclopedia. Now, when we were in school, we talked about what an encyclopedia was because none of you know what an encyclopedia is. Because when I was a little girl, that's what we had. We didn't have the internet. So we had to look in these big books, and each book had a letter on it. A, B, C, D. So if you wanted to learn about dogs, you had to go get the D book, and you had to find dogs in the book, and then you could read about dogs. And you guys were really amazed by that. You thought that was so funny. Ask your parents if they have any old encyclopedias at home. And let me know. Let me know if you have encyclopedias in your house. I want to know. Okay, back to the story. Class 2D followed their teacher into the museum. Stink ducked as he stepped through a pair of ugly red lips and giant chomping teeth at the entrance to the wonderful world of smelly stuff. Slimy, oozy, stinky, gooey. There were beeps and toots and blinking lights in every direction. Where to start? The vomit machine? Musical farts? The burpometer? Stink could not decide. I think there's a giant nose here somewhere, he told his friends. I saw the picture in the paper. Count me out, said Webster. Where there's a giant nose, there could be giant boogers, said Sophie and Webster at the same time, shivering at the thought. Well, I'm going to check out the giant nose first, said Stink. Not me, said Webster. Not me, said Sophie. Okay, smell you around, Stink said, cracking himself up. Okay, at the end of each chapter, if some of you remember, Stink draws a cartoon. And I can't show you the cartoon, but if you remember, it's Stink's Stinky Facts. And he has real facts at the end of every chapter. So at the end of this chapter, it says, sneezes travel as fast as a car, 40 miles per hour. It also says the fastest sneeze clocked in at 100 miles per hour. No lie, says Stink. Okay, that ends chapter 1. They've arrived at the Gross Me Out exhibit, and we were writing summaries of our chapters. So I'm going to get a graphic organizer to you with a beginning, middle, and end. And I think you guys remember how to do that. So what happened first in this chapter? Stink was excited because he was going on a field trip with his class. What happened next? They were talking about the Gross Me Out exhibit and all the things that were there. And what happened at the end? They arrived at the museum and Stink wants to see the big nose first. Okay? So go ahead and do your summaries and then share them with me and let me know how it's going.